We all know why we're here, so let's begin. I love that you went out of your way to make it more creative. Your average animator would have finished right when you made them stop to the finish line, but you made them go above and beyond. I love how you made the camera track everything, and you took advantage that it was a stop motion, because you can't really do that in the same way you do in live action. You really took advantage of everything you have with you, and for this, it came all the way to using your actual home. The entire video was a ride, and the only issue I really had was that the whites were clipping from overexposure. Other than that, this is a 9 out of 10. There really is not much I can critique for this.
I've changed. My old version was too weak.
I am somewhat mixed with this video. I like the sets you used for the video, but repeating one of the sets in the beginning for the main part as well was kind of lazy. I did like the vast amount of characters, but you should have made it more of a story after you mentioned what they all saw rather than just revealing it. Doing that really kills all the fun of the video. It's kind of like making a knock-knock joke, but before you get to the who's there part, you already revealed the punchline. Not very fun now, is it? I mean, knock-knock jokes aren't really that funny, but you get what I'm saying. It's a bummer you did this since the animation was actually really good. Despite this, I'm gonna have to give you a 5 out of 10. The most of the stuff I'm going to be talking about are more in the end of the video. When you make them hold each other's punches, you made it feel like they were expecting it, and try not to do that. You have to add more struggle on the movements or pushback. Add more pushback after the strikes and give more of a pushback on the swings before the strikes. I'm not mentioning anything in the first 15 seconds because they were flawless. Basically, the only things you need to improve on is your easing in and out for your strikes. Other than that, this would have been a perfect video. Also, add more sound effects, not just for the swings, but the impacts as well. 7 out of 10. I love your sense of framing, but try to make your stuff like your Legos stick on. I suggest buying some of that clay stuff that holds onto stuff, or the tape to hold onto your plate, and a stand for your phone. Zooming in too much clearly lowers your video quality, so I suggest getting closer. I personally use a macro lens to get any close-ups, and I believe you did that for one of the shots, so do more of that. Another visual issue is that there's plenty of footage that turn out to not be in focus. I promise that switching and staying in manual focus will help you a lot later on. With what you did it well, but you still could have done better. 7 out of 10. I really don't know how you did it. You made it actually look possible for Lego figures to do weightlifting. The lighting was very plain, but you made up for it with your ability to film battles. Every time Captain Boomerang did anything, it was like you're being actively paid to crank it up to 11. Just like the first video in this review, you didn't have to go as hard as you did, but you did it regardless. And just add a bigger set of sounds, and that way I can give you something higher than this 9 out of 10. At first I was gonna mention that your frame rate is too slow, but you ended up showing me that you know exactly how to use it properly. I really like your set design. If masking was added for this, it would have been miles in advance. Not just that, but just having audio. You put all your effort in the animation skill, but I think you could have afforded to spill a little bit on the audio. You put yourself in a higher standard with your visuals, so that means my standard for your other things should also be higher. Because of this, I'm just giving you a 7.5 out of 10. I like the idea of making the stop motion more of a comic, but you have to remember not to film things like a stop motion then. Get more creative with your lighting and angles to make up for the lack of movement. What you shouldn't forget is to have an aspect ratio that stays more or less consistent, because for a good majority of this video, it was not consistent at all, and it's kind of stressing in the mind. You surprised me with the live action stuff, but there's still a lot of things to fix. Don't think I don't appreciate your revolutionary ideas, but they just need more work, and if you keep doing what you're doing, they will become extremely impressive. But for right now, it's a 6 out of 10.
Those who know about electrical outlets.
Your consistency with the hand-drawn animation on the Lego actually is really impressive. Doing things like that always kills and exhausts me, but you just decided to tolerate it. The neck extension was really done well, and I just love it. I might actually have to steal from you for that one. The use of filters for this proves they aren't just for amateurs, because they added a lot to this. I genuinely have nothing I can call wrong about this. You're getting the first 10 out of 10 of this video, and if no one compares, you might be the only one.
You're not supposed to. You fucking hypnotize me. Get away from me.
So far in this review, this is easily my favorite set design. It looks so abstract, yet so comfortable. As a professionally color yellow hater, I really like what you did here. My issues fall with the battle. I'm gonna be really honest with you, but I don't want you to get offended. Here we go. The fight scene was one of the most boring fight scenes I've seen in a Lego video so far. I'm sorry I had to be honest, but there's just no music, and you could have forgotten halfway through you're watching it that they were even having a battle. Next time you do one, make sure they're actively coming for each other. The things I liked tier didn't outweigh the amount of things that the battle takes away, so I'm just gonna have to give you a 4 out of 10. I'm sorry, dude. I love that I could actually feel the tension here. Little by little, the Jedi were just being obliterated. You just need to add more of a punch when they fight. By that, I mean that you should have the being moved a little bit more backwards and then forwards when they strike, so it feels like they're using more power. You should have done this more for the Jedi though, because we already know Anakin was gonna have an easy time with this. The framing was sometimes too much on the left or right, but it was still pretty consistent, so you're getting an 8 out of 10. It took me a second to remember what kind of video this was referencing, but this is a good way to redo a LEGO video without making it seem easy. The moment I watched this, I knew I was gonna have a banger of a time because with how the way Green Goblin was joyfully moving from side to side, there's something about the way you animate it made it feel like it was just so fun. Actually, the animation as a whole was just very well done. The framing was off in some parts, but that's exactly what I expected with the set you were using. The light flickering was sometimes distracting, along with the blurry frames from some parts. I'm still gonna give you an 8.5 out of 10. I really love what you did here. In the beginning, I really didn't like Batman's attitude, but I began to enjoy it more once Alfred said he didn't have a home, and that really showed that you're just making like a pretty much despicable Batman. If you didn't embrace Batman being a total like bad person, to say it lightly, this video would have sucked, but you were on the fine line where it was actually hilarious instead. Every time Batman killed someone, personally felt like it just came from him not wanting to deal with other people. In my current situation in real life, I totally relate to this, so you're one of the few brick filmers that actually like spoke to me personally with this. I will absolutely give you points for that. One issue is that you should have put more energy into the Joker's lines. I shouldn't be one to speak since you can kinda hear that I'm recording my lines in the middle of the night, and half the time I'm already gonna fall asleep, and it's happened before by the way, but still, more work could have still been put into it. This was my favorite video out of all of these, so I'm gonna give you a 9.5 out of 10. A few flaws, but it's easy to fix. If you were told before or you're just planning on being one of these videos, you're probably going to be in the next one. So don't worry about not being in this one. But for today, this is the set list. I hope you guys share, like, and subscribe, and also have a good day.